Okay, this is the 7th lesson in the probability and statistics unit, making predictions. The homework that goes along with this is page 18 and 19 in the homework. All right. The reason we do surveys a lot of the times is so you can make a generalization about a population. For example, if you are running an election, they will make predictions about who's going to win based on their surveys. But if they don't have a unbiased population, if they don't have a random sample and unbiased questions, the survey results are no good. So we're going to use results of surveys to make predictions. And we can do this two ways. We can do it by multiplying, or we can set up a proportion. I like to set up a proportion, I think, a lot of the times. It says, a store sells 3 types of pants, jeans, capris, and cargos. The store workers surveyed 50 customers at random about their favorite type of pants. The responses are to the right. If 450 pairs of pants are ordered, how many should be jeans? Well, let's look over here. The total people surveyed, 25 jeans, 15 capris, and 10 cargos. If I add that, that's 40, 50 were surveyed. Or that's what they sold. Or no, they surveyed. So, they said 25 out of 50 said they would buy jeans. Well, X out of 450 need to be jeans. You end up, and this is a pretty simple problem, it ends up being X is 225. You could cross multiply and solve, or you could figure out that, oh, that's not 500. This should be 50. 25 out of 50 is 1/2. So what's 1/2 of 450? It's 225. All right. A survey found that 85% of people use emoticons in their text message. Predict how many of the students at Washington Middle School use emoticons. Now, I would not set up a proportion here. 85% of the people use emoticons. Don't I change 85% to a decimal? All of the people times 2,450 gives me 2,082.5. So, approximately 2,083 students. The students in Mr. Backwell's class bought photos from their summer break. The table shows how many students brought in each type of photo. What is the probability that a student brought in a photo taken at a theme park? Well, let's see how many students we have. 10, 11, that's 28. If I add that up. What's the probability that they brought in a photo of a theme park? Probability of a theme park, which we're going to work more with this next week, is 11 out of 28. Okay. If there are 560 students at the school where Mr. Blackwell teaches, predict how many students would bring in a picture of a theme park. Well, let's set up a proportion. We're always going to do part over whole. So, 11 out of 28 said that they brought in a picture of a theme park. We want to know X out of 560. And if you cross multiply and solve, you end up with X is 220. Michael has a bag of 300 balls. He randomly chooses 15 balls and 4 are purple. How many of the 300 balls are probably purple? Well, let's set up a proportion. 4 out of 15 are purple, so we want to know X out of 300. When you solve this, you end up with X is 8. So it's 8. The table shows the results of a survey of 50 Hamilton Middle School 7th graders. Use the table to find the following. Predict how many students out of 250 will enter the education field. Well, this is 50 total. You told us that right here. So, how many said they would go into education? Well, 14 out of 50 So X out of 250. And what do we end up with? We end up with X is 7. Predict how many students out of 300 will enter the medical field. Well, they said 11 out of 50. X out of 300. Remember, it's always part over whole. You end up with X is 66 when you cross multiply and solve. All right, a survey to determine school uniforms to make kids more or less popular about clothing revealed the following results. Our 7th grade class of about 300 students, about how many students would say uniforms made kids more competitive about clothing based on the grade 6 to 8 results. So here's a 6 to 8 result, and it says more competitive. Well, more competitive is orange, so it's 8%. Oh, what does it say? More competitive is 8%. So 0.08, 8% of 300 is 24 kids. 8% of 300 is 24 kids.